Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar series from the Office of the Chief Economic Advisor to the Imo State Government on the Imo economy. And today we are looking at opportunities, business opportunities as a result of elections. So it's our first for this year, and we wish our listeners a happy new year and hope that this will be a great beginning for everyone. My name is Kenneth Amechi. I'm the Chief Economic Advisor, a job I do on a part-time basis. I'm currently a professor of sustainable finance at the European University Institute, as well as a professor of business and sustainable development at the University of Edinburgh. So I'll be co-hosting or co-moderating this session with my colleague, Dr. Jude Nzako, and I'll invite him to say a word to you.
Hello, everyone, and Happy New Year. We thank God we're here today, Prof. I hope we're going to have a nice time, a wonderful discussion. Look forward to exciting chats. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And we have interesting panel members who would talk us through some of these opportunities. So today is not about party politics, so we're not being partisan in any way, but to explore the opportunities created by elections. Elections come once in a while, but you can also have opportunities that may be pre-election or during election or even post-election. And these are the things we like to tease out in ways that will be very practical and speak to the everyday person. And that's the agenda of this webinar series, and we want to keep that very much alive. So permit me to invite the panelists, and they will introduce themselves because they will do that better than myself. So they will tell us, they will introduce themselves, what they do, and then I'll follow up with some questions. Maybe I'll invite Kingsley Onunuju to introduce himself, please, if he doesn't mind.
Very well. If you can hear me, good day, everybody. You've called my name already. Kingsley Onunuju is a legal practitioner and a governance expert. And I'm a commissioner for International Human Rights Commission of Geneva, presently in Imo State. So I welcome all of you and thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, brilliant. So are you interested in politics in any way?
Yes, I am a politician. I'm a politician. Of course, everyone does.
Okay, we are all political animals, aren't we?
We are. We are.
Okay, tell me then, as a politician, what do you look out for? How do you want businesses to support you? What sort of services do you normally require, assuming you have to go into election or advising one going into election?
Well, nothing short of a credible election. And by that, I mean transparency and election that is free from fraud. More so that even though we don't envisage that, more so that we have the beavers, import of beavers and the electoral laws in place. We just want election free from harassment of whether you call it talks or politicians who want to undo others, who don't want to approach the election fairly.
So Nina, please, do you want to unmute yourself and introduce yourself and what you do?
Like you say, my name is Dr. Mrs. Nina Nwolo. By profession, I'm a lecturer in the Federal University of Technology. I'm also a politician, a woman leader.
Okay.
And like you said earlier, everybody is a political animal. So
yes.
I'm also into politics.
Yes. So going back to the question I asked Barrister Kingsley Onunuju, what do you think are the possible business opportunities politicians will be looking for at this time, so that the average person on the street who is into business might tap into?
Okay. We all know that election period is usually a period where money flows around the nation. And there are various degrees and services that can be rendered to a politician or politicians who are aspiring for one position or the other. And one of the signs that election is drawing near in Nigeria is the presence of marketing bills in public spaces. And such marketing bills include billboards, handbills, posters, banners, and so forth and so on. And so the politicians don't produce these billboards or those marketing bills themselves. They will always look at experts who will help them do that. And so an entrepreneur who is into printing business or who is a graphic designer can actually look for these politicians and then sell his product or idea to him or her. If they come to agreement and a business deal is struck, definitely such an entrepreneur will go home smiling, especially within this electioneering period.
Okay.
If you want me to go on, I can.
Yeah, you can go on. I mean, if you can be much more specific with some of these, you talked about billboards, you talked about flyers. Do you see those opportunities for people in Imo State as well?
Of course, we have printers in Imo State who can design customized t-shirts, wrappers, towels, handkerchiefs, face caps, wristbands, headbands, neck tags, mufflers, to mention but a few. The reason is because politicians will always want their pictures or names printed on those items as incentives to their supporters. So, as a business opportunity for those in printing business and those who are in graphic designs, if they are fast enough to reach out to these politicians and sell their ideas, they can employ them to produce those items. And that's the way also for the entrepreneur to make his money. Another way is also through bulk SMS. Politicians will always seek for opportunities to sell their campaign messages to a wider audience through bulk SMS. So an entrepreneur who is good in blogging or who is a blogger can, through his blog web, sell these messages, campaign messages for the politician. And even though the customized bulk SMS comes in units, the unit price may be small, but if it is a bulk SMS, it can generate a whole lot of fund for the person in the business. Then
okay,
we also
why would on that issue of SMS, bulk SMS, why would a politician come to or go to someone, an individual provider, instead of going to the telecos? I mean, in this case, MTN or Airtel or whatever mobile service provider.
Probably because it could be cheaper for the person. And since it can provide the same services which MTN and these other network providers can, one will always look for a cheaper way of getting his problem solved.
Okay, great. So, okay, Dr. Jude Nzako, I don't know, do you have any questions or comments?
Waiting for some of the politicians to tell us the opportunities, but I do know that there are more opportunities that we can look at here. Although we say there are opportunities, but there are temporary opportunities. Anyone that is not in the business already cannot go about borrowing money to invest in order to supply these services because they are quite temporary. For instance, the printing and the blogging, if you're not there already, then it won't be advisable to go and start doing that now so they can supply the politicians. But there are all the opportunities for listeners. Anyone that is providing jingle services, you can prepare jingle for politicians and perhaps customize it to their own name. Music will also be a service that you can provide to some of these politicians. People also supplying gift items. A lot of politicians personalize gift items that they give to their supporters, to the electorate. You have even food items, things like rice, yam, and those. A lot of politicians buy these things at this particular time. For rice sellers, you can approach politicians and ensure or try and see if they can buy some stuff from it. So I think let me stop here and give the politicians a chance to
Okay.
Prof, I don't know why you're laughing. I am not
No. Yeah, you're a retired politician. Anyway, okay. So let me invite Uche Ohaji. Uche, do you want to introduce yourself and then tell us what you do?
All right. Thank you for the opportunity once again. Uche is my name, Uche Ohaji. I'm from Ikedu, of course, Imo State. I'm a political analyst. I look at situations and take a position without bias. And beyond that, I'm a lifestyle consultant. I support people in their relationships and marriages. Now, for the purpose of this meeting, I also want to make a little bit of a contribution. Like the last time we looked at it, I said there are tangible and intangible business opportunities here. And as it were right now, I think some of the intangibles have not really been harnessed, We said we have opportunities for spokespersons to political parties and then contestants. We also have a place for speech writers, people whose profession and business is to write speeches that represent let me say, the principal's intent. And beyond that, what the society, what the electorate will find appealing and acceptable, that will give them a basis for making their decisions. So we say there are speech writers, there are spokespersons, and a whole lot of others. Yes.
Okay. I mean, there's something you said there, which is about, you're into lifestyle, and then you talked about counseling, marriage, and partnerships. One might argue that elections also provide opportunity for politicians and the citizens or electorates, some kind of relationship there. Do you see an opportunity for people like you there, trying to ensure that what politicians say and do, makes sense to the people, because they also need to be guided? So you're talking about script writers.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I want to commend you and your office, and of course the government of Imo State, that deemed it fit for there to be an opportunity like this, through the office of the, special advisor to the governor on economic matters. Now, it has affected me positively because I've now used this opportunity to think, what opportunities do I have in Imo State, especially, something election driven. Let me tell you something. At many homes now, the men are absent. At many homes, the women are absent. If that absence is not properly understood, if there's no intermediary, if there's nobody to support, the understanding of such a situation, I think there may be some issues. So even the political parties themselves, they may think of hiring us to come and address their politicians and participants, for them to understand how their absence and, serious engagement in electioneering activities will affect their relationships at home. So if it's not well managed, let's assume a woman is a politician and the man is not, and every time this woman is away from the house, travels from one point to the other, it may begin to affect the way the man perceives her. It may affect their livelihood at home. It may affect the way the home is run. So the family needs to understand that at a time like this, there could be such absences, like the politicians in Imo State now. When I was in Imo State, many years ago, from 1998, 99 to 2001, when we had elections, especially that 98, 99 elections, I remember that 48 hours, I did not sleep for 48 hours stretch. And I wasn't awake alone. There were many other people who were there with me. Now, when those people go home sometimes, their absence, their stretch absence could be misconstrued at home, and it can raise issues. And those issues will go beyond now, they may stretch. So when lifestyle supporters like us come in, to tell them, to let them understand that this is the implication of what you're doing, and there's a way to manage it without having any reprisals, I think it's a business opportunity for us. Even the politicians themselves, they need to incorporate into what they preach, what they sell to people, peace at home. The people you're ruling, when there's no peace at home, you hear about, marital violence, people beating each other. This past week here in Lagos State, a medical authority told me that 6 reported marital violence that led to death, 6 deaths out of family violence. So if we can, give these ideas to the politicians, they will also sell it to the electorate that when we come into office at any level where we find ourselves, We will also support you at your various homes to find peace. And if there's any need for any issues, there are dedicated numbers you can call. Not your family members because they'll be biased, not your friends because they'll be biased. But when you call a professional authority, they'll be in a position to advise you and guide you. And a lot of issues would have been avoided. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for that. I think it's a very interesting point also you raised. But here we need to find a way of putting it in a business sense, right? So one might begin to think about products. So if we are to sell this to politicians, which is a very good service in itself, how would it come across? Would it be a training program? Would it be that they invite you to where they're having rallies? Would it be that you create it more like a consultancy? What is it like? I mean, how do we make this business opportunity tangible enough for you and for politicians?
All right, thank you. It spans across everything you have mentioned. It's seminars, trainings. It can be packaged into political manifestos, because so far, I don't know any political party yet that is marketing peace at home, marital peace at home. And almost everybody is involved in one level of marriage or the other. Either you're married or a product of a marriage or something somewhere, So I am thinking we can even package it as a document, sell to politicians that, look, if you sell this to your people, they will also trust you more and they will vote you more. Then among the politicians themselves, who are the carriers of this message, we schedule meetings to train them, to let them understand what marital peace entails. It will help them also enrich the message they are carrying to their people. And then when a government comes in, like even the present government, it will be very experienced to understand that we are employing people to do some of these things. There's been research over time. We sponsor the researches. There are volunteers everywhere we are training right now to be the first respondents in issues like this. When the government says, look, we support these people, we back them up, what they are doing is good. There's a vast business opportunity. There are many people to be trained, and we're going to train the trainers too. So it's going to be a wide network of, trying to put an injection of peace into our political terrain, into our political atmosphere, so that the people you're governing, the people who are voting for you, when they go home, they'll find peace at home. So it's not always about looking for money and looking for resources. There has to be peace when we go home. So there are vast business opportunities here right now. We will come as consultants, and at consultants, we will provide different areas where we can come in. There'll be seminars, there'll be trainings, there'll be, conferences, there'll be different opportunities. Even there, we have arms and affiliates who are into hospitality business, who come into the state like this and say, look, this whole weekend is going to be for couples. Those who have issues, those who don't have issues, there's schedules for you. Come, let us go out as married people. It's even going to boost the travel industry, the tourism industry in Imo State. There are hotels everywhere. What are they doing in those hotels? Conference centers everywhere. What are we doing there? This weekend, all people who are married and having issues, come. There's something for you. It will affect the whole.
Okay, let's keep it simple. Why I'm pushing you further is to think about how we can commercialize this idea you've come up with. And I throw it back at you and say, all the major political parties in Nigeria have state secretariats, for example, right? So there could be an opportunity for you to develop a training program that you can take to them, whether it's PDP, APC, Labour Party, and name them. You go there, submit it to them. At this point in time, who knows, they may listen to you. I come from the business school perspective. We train business leaders, right?
Good.
And people in public policy may also get training from, say, the likes of Harvard, Kennedy School of Government, and so on and so forth.
Correct.
Well,
Yes.
who trains the politicians?
Good.
We expect a lot from our politicians, but you find out that nobody trains them. So that in itself is an opportunity which you have identified now. Can you point to anyone who trains politicians in Nigeria? You will struggle to find that. So I will encourage you to probably develop this as a training proposal and take it to some of the political parties around. If you're having issues, please do contact my office and let's see how we can help you reach out to other politicians. So I'll invite Dr. Jude Nzako to comment on this, and Barrister Kingsley Onuju, please stand by, because after Dr. Nzako's contribution, I'll bring you on board.
I appreciate it.
Thanks, Prof. I just wanted to add a little bit to what Uche was saying out there. there is some discussions in the public domain at the moment, demanding that politicians go through some psychic training or psychic training before they actually permitted to contest elections. So that probably will tie well with what Uche is saying there. But we need consultants that can push that, lobby for that, and get it approved at a top level so that ordinary politicians can benefit from that. So that's quite a good one. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you very much. And if you're just joining us, this is the webinar series on the Imo economy from the Office of the Chief Economic Advisor to the Imo State Government. And today's topic is on election-driven business opportunities. And we are exploring this with experienced politicians as well as advisors to politicians. So, Barrister Kingsley Onunuju, having listened so far, what do you think are some of the business opportunities you see that either from pre-election or during or post-election? Go back to Nina. Nina, based on what Uche said and the issue around training and capacity building, do you see, what do you think about that first? And then are there other opportunities you can build on that?
Well, what Uche said is viable because a home for a man or even a woman to function in the public domain, there should be peace at home. So whatever that will make probably a man who is not a politician but married to a woman who is a politician, whatever will make the man understand that whenever the woman is out there, that she's out there for political business and none other. And as a result, build up this level of trust so that whenever she's not around, when she goes and comes back, the home peace will still be maintained. It's all right to encourage what Uche is proposing. But I want to also talk about other business opportunities out there in this period. Okay. We'll have some people who are in transportation business. Entrepreneurs in this transport business who have fleet of cars, I suggest can also roll them out for renting. A politician may not buy all the cars and all the trucks that he requires to move from one location or the other. So an entrepreneur in transportation business can leverage on this. For me, an open truck can earn about 1 million per day. So if they can leverage on that, strike a business deal with this transport, with these politicians, the transport owners can also make money through that because
sorry, do you want to Nina, do you want to explain what you mean by an open truck? Because some of our members or audience may not understand it. Yeah.
An open truck, one can say, is a bigger vehicle that a lot of supporters of the aspirants can come in, and then they will move from one location or the other with their campaign messages, giving out flyers. That's what I mean. So if
okay.
Did you get that?
Yes, that makes sense. Yeah.
So those who are involved in transport business can leverage on this opportunity and reach out to politicians who are in need of these vehicles, because they will always convey their supporters from one campaign location to another. Another business opportunity I want to talk about is on those in rental businesses. During campaigns, politicians require sound systems. They also require tents, canopies, chairs, and even some forms of decoration. So those on rental businesses can also make themselves available to these politicians. So once they have good equipment and once their services and products are acceptable by the politicians, they can also strike a business deal and then get their pockets filled.
Okay, but how do we reach these politicians? Because sometimes some of them are hard to reach. Okay, so, so what you need to contact politicians. So Nina, how do people reach you?
Honestly, any politician who is vying for one position or the other, even if they don't answer phones before now, but once it is this electioneering period, most of them, their phones are open. And if they cannot reach them, the entrepreneurs cannot reach them directly, they can also involve lesser persons like their PAs and their advisors or their campaign directors. Through them, they can get to the politicians. And then when you get into what will I call it? When you get into the internet, virtually every important person's address and phone number is there. So it's a question of Googling and then searching for the people that you're looking for. You can always get them.
Okay, so I think another point might also be to go to the, what do you call it, the party secretariats,
Party
right?
secretaries, yes.
Because it's more like a one-stop shop. You go there, submit whatever proposals you have, and then maybe the party secretariats can help you reach the politicians, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, Dr. Jununzaku, do you have any reflections on this?
Yeah, well, I didn't know Nina is a wonderful, good politician. She could be good for campaign manager, you know, the way she carefully led with this. But anyway, well done, Nina. That's a really good one. But I think there are more opportunities. In fact, when I was talking to Prof earlier on, I didn't think there were this number of opportunities. But the more we discuss, the more I discover that we have more. From a legal point of view, and this comes even during election and post-elections, evidence gathering, for those of them in legal services, barristers and all that, they can get involved now gathering evidence that they will use after election. And they also need to get involved in monitoring to help them to prepare for what happens after elections. There also a need for health services, Prof. I think a lot of politicians will need some massage. At the end of the day, when you travel from one location to the other, you come back, you need a touch sometimes on your legs and get you alive again and sort of get ready for the next day, because stress is a killer during the election. So let me, like I said, just to add to what Nina was listing out there, security services is also an important aspect of elections, both pre and post, because on campaign grounds, you need a lot of security to really monitor, not just security with arms, but intelligence security is quite important, because people need to hang around and monitor what is happening and be able to report some unclear moves. So anyway, let me stop there. I'm not a politician, I'm only a moderator. Thank you.
Okay, great. So good to recognize the presence of Honorable Enyinaya Honorable, the Chief Political Advisor to the Governor. So in case he wants to say a word or two to our audience.
Thank you, Prof. I'm sorry I'm linking up late. So I have some technical issues here. I'm so sorry. And I also would apologize in case I say what somebody else had said before. Permit that slip. I am enthused by the topic. I just had Dr. Zako talking about legal persons, that is lawyers, gathering evidence for court. I think I will come in there. Naturally, we always tend to think that going to court after elections, petitions is out of order. But it is part of the electoral law that the last step is the judiciary. So we should come out of that misconception that going to court is not democratic. It's the last place we go to enforce the democratic rights of voters who may have elected somebody who ordinarily was not declared winner. That person has to go to court to enforce the choice of the voters. And that's where the courts come in. As to the situation we are in now, business opportunities from this electioneering, I think it gets to everywhere, including the clergy. Because if you notice now in the churches, you find a lot of recognitions coming in, a lot of awards. The major beneficiaries of the awards are those seeking public office, because it confers on them a kind of public acceptability. If members of a particular congregation host a political aspirant or candidate and award on him an award for philanthropy, for example, it is a buy-in to the mind of the people that this candidate stands the chance of doing good when he is elected, because the congregation that awarded him that award, that gave him an award for philanthropy, has kind of given a stamp of approval to his claim of being a philanthropist. If you go to the traders in the market, they will tell you, those dealing with clothing materials, you find that there's an upsurge in purchase of materials, uniforms for women, uniform for singers, dancers, T-shirts for youths, branded face cap, and all that. That's business opportunity coming out to those who sell or deal with those merchandise. If you go to the eating houses, the hotels, they are in business because political activity is on the upsurge. People are lodging to attend meetings. People are using halls of hotels to host meetings. People are having caucuses in different places. It's an upsurge, all thanks to the increase in political activity. Then if you come to the political party themselves, they are all alive now. Even the most insignificant suddenly has found itself attractive as a member of what we call IPAC. It's either they are IPAC or they are an opposition platform. You find out that the activities has enjoyed an upsurge because of political activities ongoing in the country now. The only thing is we must bear in mind that all this will go for the good of the society. But you find our people, despite getting these benefits, they still brand the politicians and the political activists as a no-go area, bad people. They want to embezzle. They want to have opportunity to steal. That is not the truth. The truth is that anybody who aspires to public office aspires to help the society, because what you earn from your private income will not provide all the borehole our communities need, will not provide all the employment the youths need. But if you have an opportunity of being in government, you are exposed to the facilities of government, the due process of government. You have a position to lobby to get the roads in your community done. You have an opportunity to lobby to get good laws passed. You have an idea that once you get good laws passed, our society will move better. But our people have decided to take the negative aspect of a few percentage of corrupt individuals. Of course, it is not the political party that teaches people to be corrupt. People now use it as like politics is a synonym for being a dupe, being a fraudster, being an embezzler, being a corrupt person. That is not the truth. Because even in the other societies, we also hear of people embezzling money belonging to churches. We hear people embezzling money belonging to Old Students Association. We hear people embezzling money to clubs and associations. But we have taken politicians as if they are the scapegoat, those who must be used to mount the rostrum to preach about how to make society better. Don't mind politicians. They are no good. They want an opportunity to steal. But if you go to the age grades in the village, people also embezzle money belonging to the villages.
Okay, so Honorable, yeah, we need to come back to the business side of things now, right? So.
The business side of it, I believe that the economy is getting more attention. People are having better opportunities. Like in Imo now, His Excellency just flagged off 100,000 digital skill training program in computer-based work for Imo youths. You cannot beat that. If you have 50,000 Imo youths trained in digital economy, who can have knowledge of web designing and all those type of technical aspects, is an improvement on the unemployment status of is a great help to remove people from the unemployment block in Imo. There are so many things coming in. If you go to the transport sector, a lot of vehicles are on the road now every day because they are being hired by political parties, political activists, having one rally or the other. You pay drivers 25,000 naira to 30,000 a day for hire. Ordinarily commuting in a day, they won't make such money. These are business opportunities arising from the activities of political parties and politicians. But our people will choose the negative side to run us down. And meanwhile, there's no school that train politicians. We are people who have excelled or who are trying to excel in private life and moved into the public sphere to contribute more to the development of the society. So this branding is affecting the psyche of the Nigerians. The good people are now running away from politics, and it is not good.
I think what you're saying there, Honorable, is that I can identify two opportunities, actually. One is around branding and reputation management. So politicians have earned a bad name over the years. So there is a work to be done in terms of repairing their reputation. But do we have consultants, brand experts who can help, right? So that's one. Then the other thing you mentioned, which we also highlighted earlier on, is about training, capacity building. Can we find people who create programs for training politicians? But even if they come up with such trainings, will politicians appreciate? Because sometimes some of our politicians, sorry to say that, may think that they know everything. They become too difficult even to identify their own weaknesses. But I completely agree with you. Politics should be clean. Politics should be for a good society. And as long as our politicians and those who come into politics have the same view, we'll do a lot better for our society. But let me move quickly to other opportunities. Probably there is something also around event management. So campaigns are events, right? And I don't know if you, I mean, Honorable, whether you, well, I don't think we'll be breaching any rules here. If you can even think about some of the big event managers in Imo State, do you know them?
Yes, I know them. We patronize them.
Okay, so there are people who specialize in event management.
Even as I'm speaking to you now, I have an event on now that will come on stream by 2 p.m. Okay. I'm hiring about 3,000 plastic chairs.
Okay.
I already have about 1,000 in my hall where I'm having that meeting.
So now, how do they contact you? If somebody wants to reach out to you, because now you're the heart of things and you're coordinated, are there places or an address they can reach you?
Yes, through the protocol unit of the Imo State Government House.
How would that be? Would they write a letter or they make a phone call? How can they be involved?
No, they just drop a proposal. They just drop a proposal of what they can do with the protocol units or through the principal secretary to the governor.
Okay, and that would be at the government house, right?
Yes, yes,
okay.
Yes.
Okay, great.
The same thing applies to all the local governments.
Okay, so they can walk into local government and submit their proposals?
Yes, yes, for event management, yes.
Okay, who in the local government should they contact?
The local government has a sole administrator, office of the sole administrator.
Okay, great. So Nina, any thoughts?
And let me just add one thing to what you said, the 2 points you made, the last point about training program for politicians. I would like to remind us that whenever, like the government of His Excellency, Distinguished Senator Hope Uzodimma, for today is about the 3rd year exactly we started. For every cadre of appointments he has made, he has always organized a training program for the appointees. In my own case, when I was appointed a commissioner, we stayed for 1 week under training about what to expect and how to go about our work. And I don't think we have lost track of what we were taught then. And I think is an effort that should be commended to all and sundry at different levels, that once you come into a new office, there is need to, even the civil servants we work with, they were trained on how to relate with us. We also were trained on how to relate with them, the usual bureaucracy, so that we understand the terminology. Like when somebody writes KIV, what does it mean? Bring further proof and all that for further necessary action. What does it mean? You have to learn those things. The governor organized this lecture series for us, this retreat. It was a retreat series, and it's been going on in Imo for some time since we came on board this administration. And I don't think you can overemphasize the gain of that, because it also exposes us. Assuming you have an approval from the governor's office, you know how to go about it, that it doesn't end with approval. You have to go through the bureaucracy to get it working. So the opportunities are there, the training programs are there, but we need to also add more effort to it. And also the participants, so like you said, we shouldn't assume we know everything. I don't think nobody knows everything. Thank you.
Okay, great. That's fine. So the point there is that there is an opportunity for those in the training business to also look towards politicians as possible clients, as opposed to maybe focusing only on the business or commercial side of things. So that's the point we're made. And it applies to those in government and those who are aspiring to come into government as well. So, but let me go to Nina before I come back to Uche. Nina, do you want to add anything to what you've heard so far?
Yeah, I also want to remind the food vendors located in the different parts of the, let me use it as a point of contact, that the food vendors, this is actually a electioneering period, a period of campaign, and then meetings and programs are held in different places. So food vendors can also leverage on these opportunities, reach out to these organizers of these campaign programs, and then convince them sell their ideas, that they can also cook for them and provide food for them. Even those in water business, those in water business, like pure water business, bottled water business, they can also reach out to these politicians and sell their products to them. I'm sure they will make a huge lot of money, because wherever there are crowds, especially in this dry season, people look for water. They can, make some cool money once they can get in contact with the politicians who are holding one programs or the other in different places.
Somebody also talked about, what do you call it, the sound system, those who provide that sort of service.
Yeah, I was the person that said that.
Okay, great. And what about waste management? Because if you do campaign, you are bound to clean up the place, right? Honorable I think that's the rule, right? Once you do campaigns, you're asked to tidy up the place. So that be also an opportunity for those in waste management.
Yes, for example, in Imo, we have the Imo State Waste Management Authority, ISWAMA, and the government facilities that are available to all parties, where we call the Ndubisi Kano Square, formerly Hero Square, is available to all persons who wish to have public events like political parties, churches, and all that. Normally, when you pay some caution for cleaning up. Like the last time the Labour Party used there, a day after the Labour Party, the PDP used there. So if it wasn't clean enough, you would have seen PDP go to town that we left it dirty. So immediately an event ends, there's a cleaning task force that does the cleaning, because the users all pay for some nominal fee for cleaning up after the event. And I also suppose that things that happen in other areas, like in school playgrounds and all that, independent sanitation agents, also cleaning agents also do such work. It's an opportunity also, just like those who produce the sachet water, the water we call popularly here pure water business. When we have those events, you see emergency cooling vans set up to market soft drinks and water to people who come. When you have an event of 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 people attending, there is no way the government or those who are doing that event can provide for all the refreshment. So you find immediate vendors, like the lady said, food vendors, soft drink vendors come up and stay around that premises to market their wares. And there's also business opportunity, banana sellers and all granite sellers. In fact, people come from as far as Mbidi or Lo to sell banana and granite in Owerri. Some come from Ihiala to sell banana and granite in Owerri when we have those large events. And I think it's also an opportunity for engagement in business and economy.
Okay, great. So if you are just joining us, this is the Imo Economy webinar series organized by the Office of the Chief Economic Advisor to the Imo State Government. And this is where we try to explore opportunities in Imo State, economic opportunities, business opportunities that will benefit the everyday, everyone, so to speak. So today the conversation is on election-driven business opportunities, and we have an interesting set of panelists who are helping us dissect these opportunities. So let me invite Uche Ohaji at this point to see if he has other things he would like to contribute to what he has had so far.
All right, just to continue from where everybody has stopped. There are many more opportunities we need to recall. There are those into photography, well, let me say those into content creation, because I think that's where technology has taken us right now. Those who create content. The same content creators use music studios, new business for them. They are photographers, they are videographers. There are some people who must cover such events, do live coverage. And I think it was a doctor who said the people who are lawyers will use this opportunity to gather evidence to use in court later. The same way are other people recording the events and keeping them in proper storage for reference later. And there are yet some other areas we don't even think about. Medical facilities will very well use this opportunity to provide first aid services, ambulance services, especially where there are election campaign events, you know. And doctors would also have to get a bit closer to the politicians. Because heart-related issues and all those medical conditions, they need doctors.
But Nina, let me go back to you on a practical basis. So when you go out for campaigns, okay, so the places where these campaigns are run, to what extent are they properly equipped? So in terms of conveniences, you know, if people are pressed and, you know, I mean, these are, some of them might be village settings, some might be urban areas, but they may have different needs when it comes to convenience. Do you see an opportunity there too, Nina?
Where there are big events, actually, there are those in the management of conveniences. When there are big events, actually, they always make such provisions for the general public. So those in that kind of business should also look out for such events and then bring their proposals to the appropriate quarter. If it's a government function, they should also bring their proposals via the people in charge of such programs. And then once their gadgets are okay or their equipments are okay and they can render the services that are being required, definitely they will be hired. But in villages, maybe in local governments and local places, if there are rallies, it's an open place. Whoever that wants to ease himself can always find somewhere around the bush because it's a village setting and there are village practices. And locations are not usually more than 1 day affair. So it may not require those mechanical toilet facilities.
Yeah, but if we're looking at health and safety and issues that come with that, probably that could be also a case to be made. So where somebody says our campaigns need to be safe and, you know, in a complete sense. So whether we are running it in a village or in an urban area setting, so this is where come to play. And also there could be opportunities. You might be in Owerri or Imo State, but you can also extend your services to other states, so that we don't limit this to only opportunities in Imo State. So if I'm a designer or I'm into transportation, nothing says I can't provide my services to people in Abia, politicians in Abia, politicians in Rivers State, politicians in Anambra, for example. And that reach in itself is very important. Okay, great. So, Honorable, any final sort of advice would like to give to people who are in this space? Che, do you want to come in? Do you want to jump in? Any sort of final thoughts?
I appreciate you, my brother, for this opportunity. The truth is that this particular session would have opened the eyes of many people, including myself, that there are some things we may have been ignoring, which the opportunity has just been given to us now. You know, our eyes have been opened to more opportunities. I tell you the truth. Our listeners and viewers, from wherever they are, will be seeing it in the same way. Oh, I could even do more business here. I could do more business. So it's a good opportunity to drive the economy of Imo State higher and faster. I really appreciate you. There are so many things, so many. In fact, the longer we stay here, the more we remember some. Like when I said first aid providers, you wouldn't know, or we wouldn't even consider it something so vital that campaigning and electioneering would require. So there are so many things. The more we think, the more opportunities we'll discover. Thank you.
And even people in crowd management, you know, we take it for granted, right?
Somebody mentioned security earlier. You know, the security companies are not just the intelligence branch of it. There should be some of them there managing the crowd, because crowd control to avoid stampede is a very important aspect of such gatherings.
I saw some videos cycling around and you can see the crowd, you know, so especially if a politician is popular. So you don't want any casualties as a result of your campaign. So you have to be holistic in approach to ensure you have the right people, the right experts. And I have been in meeting rooms where even sometimes when we start these campaigns or rallies, you hardly hear people tell you or talk about health and safety, right? Whereas most of these multinational firms, before they do anything, they'll tell you the health and safety issues involved. so that people know if there is fire, this is what to do, and this is how to behave. But our rallies, we just start once we have said our prayers and leaving everything to God, right? So that, I think in terms of education and learning, somebody can also position that as a service to political parties and politicians themselves, because nobody would like to have casualties as a result of their campaigns and rallies.
That's true.
Okay, great. So thank you for that. So Nina, before I think I will give the last word to Honorable Commissioner to wrap up. But Nina, do you have some kind of final thoughts and ideas you would like to share in terms of opportunities you remembered in the course of the conversation as well? But Nina, you want to unmute yourself, please.
Some of those T-shirts, face caps, and all those materials or wares that people put on during the campaigns are sewn by tailors. So tailors can also leverage on that on this period and then reach out to these politicians and then strike a business deal. I'm also talking to the youths. This is not a period of indulging in illicit engagements that will bring destruction to their overall well-being. It's actually a period to look at all these opportunities that have been extracted and then find a way to, find something their hands can do and get themselves engaged into doing something meaningful with their lives instead of making themselves available to things that will bring destruction to them, because the opportunities are bound. There are so many things they can actually lay their hands on and then get some money into their pockets legitimately instead of engaging in unlegitimate businesses that will bring destruction to their lives.
Okay.
So the opportunities are bound actually.
Okay, great. Tony, just to make sure we hear your voice here, are you able to speak?
My name is Dr. Tony Zunobi, CEO, Millennium Collection and Designs Limited. Thank you so much for letting me in. I want to take an opportunity on digital advertising and blogging for young people who have activities and skills in developing blogs, because a lot of politicians will want to their media and outings to be heard by all. So those who have blogs that discuss political affairs will have an opportunity to showcase such politicians. Another opportunity that is very great in digital advertising is hyping of the messages of the politicians. I should have these messages to target demographic audience within.
Okay, Tony, we have to stop there. So, because in the interest of time, I know you've made a very good point about blogging and the digital market opportunity
access
for the youth.
Digital market,
So
yes.
let's hope that the youth will take advantage of that. There is a space for
Yes.
that. I mean, there is a space for blogging and social media work. So that's so let me bring Honorable Enyinna Onegbu at this point. We have literally 2 minutes, because if we don't end at the right time, the radio station will kick us out. So Honorable, just final words to our audience based on what you've heard so far.
I have.
Okay, good.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity of being here to contribute to the discussion, but we will have to also reemphasize that the patronages that are available from political activities this evening are not permanent, and anything we make from it, we should save for better investment after the political season. And at the end of the day, the peace and security of our society is uppermost in our minds, that if you have anything to do with the activities going on now, that you support us in a positive way to make our society better. Opportunities will also come after elections from the activities of those who will be fortunate to be elected into office from the elections. And we only have to join and support them to serve the society better. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Honorable. And that leaves me with the opportunity to thank our panelists, Uche Oji, Tony Ezeonogwu, Nina, Kingsley Onunuju, and also the Honorable Commissioner here, Enin Onebu. Thank you for an interesting conversation. And I guess our audience, you would have enjoyed this. I also want to thank Jovita Agu from my office, as well as Adeze Ashaheme